it's motivation. Yeah, every single time zone, our zone. Shiny little rings is the prize our eyes on.
Hello and good evening, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Faithful to the Bay podcast. I'm your host, Shane Michael Crisp, and I'm stoked tonight to be covering various topics on the 49ers. And I have two great, incredible co-hosts, one named Mike McDaniel, and no, not the the Miami Dolphins head coach, Mike McDaniel, and Caleb McElwrath. Let me add them to the stream.
Up?
Hey, what's up, you guys?
Yeah, what's going on?
Pretty good.
Good.
Hey, Mike, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Mike. I'm 39. Been a Niners fan pretty much since as long as I can remember. Multiple 49ers Halloween costumes growing up. Been with them through the good and the bad.
Awesome, man. I know that 2004 season was terrible. It's still etched in my brain.
Jeff Garcia.
Caleb, you can tell us a little bit about yourself, bro?
Yeah, I'm part of the younger generation of Niner fans, so I didn't get to see all those glory days everyone else did. So I'm still waiting for the first Super Bowl. Hopefully get to see one this year, but a lot of lows. So hopefully change.
Yeah, I would agree. But I don't know. The early 2010s, the teens were pretty decent. Those 2011, 2012, you know. So you got to witness some great teams. It's just
got to witness some championship games.
Alex Smith, Colin Kaepernick.
It wasn't bad. And then we had that little. Yeah, exactly. And then we had that little 4-year slump and then hey, back with Shan. So, you guys, we're gonna start with our first topic. Mike, I'm gonna ask you on your thoughts on the season.
It's been a wild ride so far. If you would have asked me at the beginning of the season, I could have told you three things that I would bet on. Brandon Ayuk was going to ball out. I thought Kittle would reemerge, and I thought Bosa would be Defensive Player of the Year. Nobody thought Jimmy would even be able to play this year with the Niners, let alone be an impactful player on the Niners. When Purdy stepped in, I had no idea who he was. Absolutely none. I went back and watched some videos after he destroyed the Dolphins. And, man, the dude can ball. He can ball. So I'm stoked where we're at. This game shouldn't be happening this weekend, so that's got me a little worried. We'll see what happens. I'm happy to be a Niners fan again.
Red and gold till we're dead and cold, man. Caleb, what are your thoughts on the season, man? What did you think? 13-4, or do you think we're going to be 4-13?
Well, when we were about 3-4 in the season, I mean, we kind of I didn't see too much going on right there, but I'll touch a little on what he said. The Ayuk breakout season, you see through the offseason, him and Trey Lance kind of developed this chemistry together, and you're kind of waiting for him to be unleashed, that vertical threat this offense could use. And then when he goes down, it's kind of like, okay, we're going to see it take a back seat, see if it's going to be the Devo show again. And they kind of start out 3-4, and you see what changes need to be made, where this offense can kind of erupt from. And then we kind of see that midseason trade, which kind of helped, I guess you could say, one of the best of all time, it's being said right now.
Same thing, man. Like you said, 3-4. Trey Lance breaks his foot. We were supposed to just be skating along, with just, hey, see how he develops this season. But things changed when we traded for Christian McCaffrey. Undefeated since. Well, I mean, since the Chiefs game. So,
yeah.
You guys got any other thoughts on the season? I mean, did you guys think? Did you think we would ever acquire an all-star running back like Christian McCaffrey? Caleb, I'll ask you.
No.
First.
Okay.
Not really.
Sorry,
You kind of see the running backs. I mean, you take like Ezekiel Elliott for a chance. You kind of pay them these big bucks, and then that position's more replaceable, I guess you could say, than other positions. So I feel like they would make other changes first, but I'm happy they did it because like you said, since he's been starting, it's 10-0, and it's unlocked more of a thing. You kind of wondered back in. I've always wondered why Shanahan running back kind of haven't been involved in the pass game. And I mean, you've seen it a couple of times, and you can see they can catch and they can move out in the open with it. But I guess it's kind of just McCaffrey being that safety blanket for the quarterback, and it's a lot less negative plays, and it really helps stretch the defense, open up some other plays. So, yeah, I'm all for it now.
All right. Mike, you want to touch on that?
Yeah, they had to out of necessity, and I wish they wouldn't have at the time, because I feel bad. Half of the players that were drafted for Trey Lance's cannon are side pieces now. Danny Gray will outrun damn near anybody's arm. So what's he do? Nothing. Well, when Elijah Mitchell went down, who is a beast, we should have kept Tevin Coleman. If people would use Tevin Coleman the way that they use Christian McCaffrey, Tevin Coleman would be a rock star. Tevin Coleman has hands. He's proven it. Heck, he's proven it with us. So I'm stoked we got him. Yes, he's the best at what he does. I don't think we needed to give away the draft capital for it. So I don't want to give John Lynch that. I think keeping him away from the rest of the NFL was a smart move. The Niners have always had great running backs, all the way back from Waters, all the way through. Look at what they did with Raheem. Look what he's doing now. I mean, it's not. It was hard for me to see him spend the draft capital on him. I'm glad we did, because once Debo went down, that's when that proved that it was worth it. But up until Debo went down, I was against it, man. Hats off to those guys. Hats off to Christian, because he is. I'm bummed he didn't get a Pro Bowl nod as a starter, because he's got utility yards like there ain't no tomorrow.
That's why he won NFC Player of the Month. Right there, total touchdown, 727 all to get purpose yards. Dude's balling, like you said. I'm with you on that. I don't know why we mortgaged the future and try to do what the Rams did, but look at where they're at. I hope we don't end up like that next season. But we have too much depth, I think. Too many young guys. So, I mean,
well,
it's and off for sure.
Well, that and the fact that now we have two quarterbacks that we don't have to pay for another 3 years. We can afford to have a dynasty right now, and that's what they have. Like, they can draft an amazing offensive line. They could fill a couple gaps, and they can hire high-end cornerbacks if they wanted to. They can hire high-end guards if they wanted to, and still be under the budget, because you're not spending 30, 40, 60 million on a quarterback.
Exactly. Just like with look at Russell Wilson. Biggest mistake there. Aaron Rodgers even.
Yep.
Mike, since we're going to move on to the next part of it, we got the playoffs this weekend against the Seattle Seahawks this Saturday in monsoon weather. What is your take on this game?
If it wasn't going to rain, it would probably be like 41-17, maybe. Everyone likes to say that we only beat them by a touchdown last time or whatever it was. No, they took a knee on the 1 yard line. Mason had blitzed that to the line. It should have been 2 touchdowns. So I don't want to give them that. We didn't have Debo then either. But this rain that's coming, I want people to understand what I do for fun. I'm a tournament bass fisherman, so I pay very close attention to weather, and the apps that I use to track the weather, the amount of rain that this place is going to get, I don't see them throwing a ball, which should put it in the Niners' wheelhouse. I feel good about that. This game will probably come down to turnovers. I'm going to say Niners. It's going to be something weird. 23-9.
Wow. Yeah, that's going to be definitely a grounding, like you said. Or I think it was Caleb that was saying it earlier in the Facebook group. It's going to come down to who has the better running backs, and Mitchell. But I mean, we're full strength now. So, Caleb,
Yep.
what's your take on the Seahawks at 49ers this Saturday?
Yeah, it's kind of hard not to just focus, I guess, the whole thing on the weather because you see, we can go back to that last time they played. They kind of found that mismatch with Kittle on their linebackers, especially with their main guy now, Jordan Brooks. I know he tore his ACL a couple weeks back, so they have another backup in at that position, which, I mean, looking at it, you should see Kittle should have the same exact game he had last time, but with this weather, it's going to come down to who makes the least amount of mistakes, make sure you tackle, and yeah, just don't give the ball away. That's the main thing.
Well, that's what you were saying, Caleb. Said that it could be a slip coverage. I mean, in the wet grass, and then that receiver for the Seahawks is going to be taken into the house, or vice versa. Well, we can only hope. And like you said, good point. I forgot about Jordan and his ACL. So I mean, that works to our advantage. So Purdy can work the middle with Kittle all day. They don't have Bobby Wagner there anymore, so no one's really stands out on their depth chart to me other than that rookie corner that they have.
Yeah, he's a baller.
Yeah, next one. It's still fun with also Seahawks. I mean, it's going to happen like last year where the Niners beat the Seahawks or the Rams twice and then lost. I mean, it's very silly. But Caleb, what's your thoughts on that? Do you think that the Seahawks even have a slight chance? Even though, before we jump in, looking at the DVOA, the special teams for the Seahawks ranks 4th in the league compared to where the Niners rank 15th.
Yeah, no, you look at those games last year, it's kind of you see the Rams roster, and they obviously had a mismatch. Our corners or our secondary wasn't a strong suit last year. They made off-season moves for that, thankfully. But I mean, they had Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, so they had some positions that they were better than us at. And you could go back and look at those games, and those games could go either way. I mean, that Week 18 game, we were down, I believe, 17-0 at one point. So looking at this Seattle team, I really think we're better at just about every position from them. So it really should be 3 in a row. But like you said, the weather, missed coverages, these always something wild happens when these teams play. But Jay Greenlaw's healthy this weekend, and he's always had his best games against Seattle. So that's a big plus for us.
Yeah, that he does. And that's the thing we got to watch out for, though, that special team. Remember last year they got us on that for the touchdown. So, your thoughts for playing against Seattle a third time? I mean, I know we kind of already touched upon it a little bit, but any final thoughts? Or
Like you said, special teams. I think Seattle runs a lot of fake punts, fake field goal kind of stuff. So I think that's why their DVO is real high. But they also don't play against us and have a good DVOA on special teams. Like if you break it down in games instead of their overall DVOA, I don't think it's that good. And they may get 1 or 2 to the house, which improves their DVOA. But we got Ray back there who's been giving us the best field position the Niners have ever had, from kickoffs, punt returns, you name it. And then Purdy's got the ability just to get the ball down the field in a hurry. Man, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I still think the Niners win, and I think they win pretty convincingly. It's just going to be a weird game. It is. It's going to be a weird game.
that it is. And like you said, Cloud, who's the best special teams returner that we had, Ginn Jr., I would say. Ted Ginn was phenomenal, but we haven't had anything like that in over 10 years. Ted Ginn was 2011 was the last time we'd seen him.
I believe so, and he also fumbled a lot too. And I know Ray had a bad record with that in Pittsburgh, and I was worried about it too. But he's impressed me, man. He's held on the ball all year. I think with Jimmy as a quarterback, if Ray would fumble the ball or Jimmy would fumble the ball, I would worry more. Now, this offense, you can't guard everybody. Watch. Trent Williams will have a touchdown. I'm telling you. Trent Williams will catch a pass for a touchdown. You watch. Or run the ball for a touchdown. One or the other.
Like the fridge. Like the 1985's refrigerator Perry right into the end zone. Oh, man, that would be awesome. You. I mean, Trent had that awesome in the playoffs. Caleb, you want to touch up on the special teams a little bit? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I guess you look at. I think it was week 2 we played them, and I think that was their only score. That was a blocked field goal from us that they returned from the house. And like you said, last year they got the touchdown on us as well. So, like I said, weird things happen when these two teams play.
That's the thing.
Thankfully, we've been on the good side of that these last couple matchups, and I think it continues this weekend as well.
That, and guess what? We've got the number 1 defense, number 1 in turnover origin. So, Tayshaun Gibson Sr. leads our team with interceptions. That just blows my mind. You think Charvarius Ward would, but Tayshaun Gibson with 5 interceptions. Mike, what's your thoughts on the 49ers defense this year? Do you think it's better than the 2019 defense?
I do. I think as much as Diamador Lenore is getting flack, he's there. That Arizona, as much as I'll get flack for this, that was offensive pass interference. He was in the right place. He made a play on the ball. He got pushed off on. That is what it is. He's shown improvement. Like he's always been around the ball, but now he's starting to make plays on the ball. Charvarius Ward is probably the best lockdown. Look what he did to Metcalf the last time. Yeah, I mean Metcalf had like nothing. Why he don't travel? I don't understand that part. I'm glad Mosley's moved forward and Tayshaun has stayed back there. Before the season started, Sherman said that Niners will have the most interceptions in the league. He believes that this backfield is better than their era. I do too. I think it's good. I think the biggest weakness is when the line gets blocked, they can't stay on coverage when it goes to street ball. When the routes end and the street ball game starts, that's when the coverages get blown. So we'll see if they adjust for that. They kind of did by leaving Tayshaun in the back and let him play over the top. I think the Niners need to play a lot more press coverage because they know that it's a timing thing with these fast receivers. And if you look, Devontae was getting the ball to him without even his head being turned around yet. Like he wasn't even out of routes. So if you bump that receiver, that's 1 or 2 seconds delay. That ball's coming out before it needs to. And they're not doing that. And we'll see if they adjust for it.
Yeah, I know that's the thing. The wide receivers, Talanoa Hufanga looks like a deer in the headlights sometimes. I mean, the dude can ball the passing game, ends up a lot of catches down the middle. Like, dude, where were you?
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts
he's
on
young.
Defense? Do you think it's better than 2019? Yeah, his second year, he'll get it. I believe that he will.
I think
sorry,
it's better.
Caleb, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
You're good. The one thing that I think it kind of lacks on, it's kind of weird too, because Bosa, I think everyone agrees it's Defensive Player of the Year. But you kind of look at the rest of the line, and I think the 2019 D line was better when they had Buck and they had Armstead, and
Most def.
D Ford would have played once every blue moon, but they were able to get pressure from all other rounds. So it is awesome with how good Bosa has been for us. So it makes it look a lot better, but I mean, they're going to trip him. They're going to put tight ends on him with the tackles. So if he's not able to disrupt it, which he has been these last two Seattle games, so that's good. But need someone else on the D line to step up. Hopefully, Kinlaw could show out while they draft him in the first round.
I agree. Hopefully, I know he's on a pitch count right now, but I think he's up. So hopefully they can use those, throughout the game instead of using it all in the first half when we really need them. Let Armstead get a breather,
Yep.
So, guys, I kind of want to stay on the same topic. I want to compare the 2019 team. I mean, if you guys want to get into DVOAs, I've gotten them down. We can compare the two offensively, defensively. I mean, obviously, I think that we're better offensively, in 2022 with the star power we have and the way Brock Purdy's playing compared to when Jimmy Garoppolo was playing in 2019. But defensively, like Caleb had just said, our defensive line was a lot better. Even though that was, Nick Bosa's rookie year, he only had 9.5. He doubled in not Super Bowl year, but this playoff year. So it's just one of those. I mean, Mike, what's your take? Do you have a 2019 team that might be better than this team?
The 2019 defensive line was definitely better. If you look at the sacks, it was multiple sacks from every player on the line. It wasn't multiple sacks from one player and a sack from somebody. So the D line was definitely better. Let's see. 19 was Kendrick Bourne on the Niners in 19.
Yeah.
Who?
Oh hell, 2019 offense sucked. Kendrick Bourne is the worst wide receiver in the NFL. That was a wasted draft. Yeah, horrible. Patriots player now. He sucks for the Patriots. Well, actually, is okay for the Patriots, but still a weak link for the Patriots. He's not a number one. Let's put it that way. He's not a number one, and that's what he was drafted to be. That was Debo's rookie year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
yes, sir.
I feel the 2019 team was the first year the Niners went to prison, and I feel the 2022 team is them coming out of prison all bulked up. I feel like everyone who had weaknesses in 2019
I like that.
either got replaced or mindset change. 2022 offense is just way more firepower. You can't even with McGlinchey as a weak link. Okay, you've got one weak link, and he's not that weak because Brock has hamstrings that his first two movements are so fast he can get rid of the ball. So with Brock, this offense is a top 2, top 3 all-time Niners offense. There's too many stars.
Wow.
There's too many. There's too many stars. Anybody in the NFL knows every player on the Niners. The entire starting lineup for the 49ers offense.
True.
Every player on there, everyone knows them, including the linemen. So that's star power. Defense, man. Defense, they're third. They're probably top 3.
Wow. Compared to the 2000 Ravens and the 85 Bears, huh?
No, top 3 Niners defense. The 2010 Dante Hittner.
Oh.
Hittner, bro, that backfield was dirty.
Yeah.
But Yeah. That defense was dirty. That was
Deshaun
one.
Golston. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Deshaun Golston.
Yeah. So I would say yeah, I would say the Harbaugh defense era was definitely number one, and then I would say the 2019 defense was number two, and I'd say this defense is probably the number three.
Wow, that's awesome. Caleb, you got any take on that? Did you compare those three teams? How would you organize them? Do you agree or?
Yeah, for sure. Offensive wise, I think it's number one without a doubt. I mean, they could. I just there's not many teams. I mean, you can't stop everyone. If everyone is clicking, if everyone's schemed correctly, which they usually are, he's been great with that lately. I mean, you can see Debo's targets have dropped since McCaffrey came in, but there's a reason. I mean, he's the first check, and then he's not open. You got Kittle, you got Ayuk going over 1,000 for his first time, so he's emerging. I think it's really offensively. I think it's number one without a doubt. Uh, the weird thing is the defense. It's so much harder to play defense in the league today. First of all, you can't really touch the quarterback at all, so they're still getting these pressures. And I mean, I think the quarterback position is more talented than it's been at any time. So I probably would have this defense a little higher, but I mean, you can't really go wrong with it. I think this one it is really close, but that 2019 D line, I think that's why I put that one over this one.
Really? Oh, wow. So I agree with you guys. I really am happy with this defense. I like Caleb, you guys say 2019's defense is number two. I don't know. I have to say number two in my book would be 2022. So, but yeah, man. I mean, and Mike, I remember you talking about Mike McGlinchey being the weak point. He's actually the last four games has held his developed in the passing game. So, I mean, like you said, there Caleb touched on, that there's so many different spots stacked every spot, even the center. I mean, when Alex Mack retired, we thought that was going to be a big gap in the O line, but Kittle's really just held his own. He's a Pro Bowl alternative too this year. His first year with the Niners.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it looks like McGlinchey stepped up, but you got to remember with Brock in there now, there's plays where you're not supposed to block. So they're playing to McGlinchey's weakness because Brock's not Jimmy. Brock, watch every time Brock gets hit, his eyes are up. He protects the ball and takes the hit. If he's making a throw, his eyes are up, open, and looking downfield. So that is a big difference when you're trying to protect quarterback. Look how many times J.J. Watt got to him. We still blew him out of the water. It doesn't matter no more.
Hey, that's okay. I mean, want to touch on that?
What was that? Sorry.
Did you want to follow up on that with what Mike was just saying about comparing Purdy?
Yeah, he says it's kind of interesting. When he gets hit, his eyes are still open and downfield. That's one thing I noticed too. It makes me think of actually just with the eyes open part, the 2019 Super Bowl. There was you see Jimmy getting hit from the side and the eyes are just closed and that ball is thrown downfield, intercepted, and it was just a little shocked, but I mean it's
horrible.
It's just how poised he is for being a rookie. It really seems like he kind of helped create that offense, how well he is like fit for it. So I mean, I don't think anyone could have seen this coming with how spectacular he's really been in it. Especially since he took over as a starter, he's leading in multiple categories for the whole NFL.
Oh, I agree.
Yep. He
all right, guys. So I was going to ask. I mean, we're going to move on from the. I'll go ahead.
It's definitely your internet, Shane, because our
You
screen's
go ahead,
staying
Mike.
nice and clear.
Must see. Yeah, it is my internet. I'm looking at the internet right now, so my apologies, guys.
Yeah,
It says it's fairly good.
All good.
you're good now. No worries. We can move on. I'm sure we'll cover it later.
All right. Yeah, if you want to continue on what you were saying, Mike.
No, we're good. We can move on.
Okay. So I know we were talking about all the 49er stuff. So I just want to get down to the end of this, not the show, but we can move on to the NFL here. So final thoughts, you guys. What's your thoughts on the score this weekend? All right, Caleb, I'll ask you. You can start.
Yeah, like he said, if it was just a normal California weather day, I thought they would be the high 30s like they usually are with this offense lately, but I'm gonna keep around the 24-10 mark, San Francisco.
Nice.
I'm gonna say.
Mike, can you hear me?
Ooh, yeah, I can hear you. Sorry about that. I'm gonna say 20. Okay. Man, this. It's not just the rain that's got me worried. It's the wind. Like, it's gonna affect field goals bad. And even the amount of rain is gonna make the ball really heavy. So like, short yard field goals are even gonna be hard. I still think Elijah's going to punch in a bunch of freaking touchdowns with McCaffrey punching in a bunch. 28-9 Niners.
28-9. Love it, man. Love it. Hey, Mike, you wanted to say something about Brock Purdy. You want to know that what you were going to say?
Yeah, so one of the things that I realized when looking back at it, everybody was trying to figure out how Brock was up to speed. Well, Brock was up to speed, one, because he was playing against the number one defense in the NFL. So that kind of got him up to speed. As far as the play goes, man, he with the exception of the running back for the Jets, Bryce Hall, who went down, there's only three other players who got drafted from an offensive side during Brock's tenure at Iowa State. And one's an XFL receiver now because he didn't do diddly squat. One's a running back for the Bears who actually did really well 2019. Like, he busted 1,000 in 2020 or 2019, something like that for the Bears. Like, he's the Bears running back. So, they've had two good running backs while Brock was there, but no good tight ends, no good receivers, none of that. And no offensive linemen who even went to the NFL. But yet, so that tells me Brock pretty much carried his team in college. Like, he carried the teams. Even his passing record was done without a decent receiver or tight end. So then now all of a sudden he gets into the NFL and he's got stars at line. He's got stars at tight end. He's got stars at receiver. All he needed was to get to speed, and the defense had him at speed before he got in. So I think the hat's off to Brock for being ahead of the game. I mean, if Brock hadn't carried his team in college and had a whole bunch of other offensive weapons with him, I think Brock would have been more on people's radar because of that.
I agree. That was really great. I didn't even really ever think about that. Is all I thought, which got him ready for the NFL. But Caleb, you want to touch on Brock Purdy before we move on?
Yeah, just a little bit more about what he said. I mean, you look at that program, Iowa State, and I mean, you look before him, I mean, it was just probably one of the laughing stocks of the Big 12. I mean, not really anything. He got there. He turned him in, got a Big 12 championship, kind of turned him into a winning program, and then, I mean, he's gone right away, and it's kind of just back downhill again for him. So, I mean, he showed he could lead a team without talent, and I mean, you go to the most talented roster in the NFL. It's just, what do you expect the kid to do? You know?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, you guys, you want to move on to playoff predictions? We've got, I guess, we're playing against Seattle on Saturday, and then I think, isn't it Jacksonville and LA following the
Yeah.
Niners game?
Yeah.
Saturday night.
All right, so we all agree that we think the Niners are going to take it. So who do you guys think with Chargers against Jaguars?
I'm gonna say Jags. I'm gonna say they're rolling pretty good right now. I don't know how far I think they're gonna go as far as in the playoff picture. I kind of do. I mean, I bet on them, but not on them. But I've made my predictions the rest of the way through. But man, I don't know how much of an impact Bosa is going to be. I think Bosa is going to probably re-aggravate it. Their Chargers receiver, back when you go down like that, it's going to be real easy to re-aggravate it. I suffer from it. I've had multiple spinal injuries from motocross and BMX. I know what it feels like to be like a spring chicken one day and the next day feel like you're going to be paralyzed. So I don't know. I don't know if the Chargers can get it done or not. I'm going to go with Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. Caleb, who you got, man?
Yeah, you kind of. I just like to look at the best unit out of those two, like offense and defense for either of them. And I think the Jacksonville defense is just probably the best unit out of that group. So I know the Chargers got their weapons back, and I mean Justin Herbert. The numbers speak for himself. He is a very, very good quarterback. But I got Jacksonville winning this one as well.
Nice. I'm 50-50, guys. I don't know. Herbert versus Trevor. You know, man, I don't know. It's going to be a good game. So it looks like the next game after that, we have Dolphins at Bills. I mean, pretty sure we know Tua Tagovailoa is not playing. So it looks like that's going to be an easy one for the Bills. They got the easiest game out of everybody. Then the next enticing one I want to say is the Giants versus the Vikings. What do you guys think?
Oh, yeah.
Caleb, who you got on that?
I'm going with the G-Men. Minnesota's defense is, I mean, I think terrible is overrating them a little bit. They're very, very bad, and it took a 61-yard field goal to beat the Giants in Minnesota last time. So you got the Giants coming out. They really, I mean, they put their JV squad out there for their last game, so they're well rested. I think Dable's done a great job coaching them. So but yeah, Minnesota's defense is one of the worst. So I'm going with the Giants.
Giants, nice. Mike, who you got, man? Are you going to say the same, or you think the Vikings might pull this off?
My heart wants me to have the Giants go just because I hate Kirk Cousins, but my hatred for Kirk Cousins it stems from one thing: is I know what type of player Kirk Cousins is, and he'll stand in there and take a hit because he's going to throw the ball exactly where he wants the ball to go, and to stop that, you got to check your receivers. He knows how fast Justin Jefferson is. He knows exactly where he's going to be, and he knows exactly how long it takes to get the ball there. So if you give him that amount of time to get it there, it's going to get there. And he don't care if he gets hit or not. So, man, I don't know what type of play we're going to get from Saquon in this game. That worries me. Is old Daniel's going to have to step up and lead, get mobile. 'Cause don't know. Minnesota's on a downhill. They're on a downhill trend. They either blow teams out or they get in these stupid games. Like as fast as they came back on the Colts scares me because the Giants can have a tendency to have that lollygag defensive whimsical laxation, and if that happens, they'll get steamrolled. I'm gonna say Giants. And I'm gonna say it's gonna be a low scoring game.
It looks like we've all agreed so far. I mean, other than the Chargers, I'm kind of 50-50 on. I don't know who's going to win that. It's just going to be a good game. Ravens Bengals is the next one we got without Lamar Jackson. I mean, who knows? I think it's more to do with his contract than his actual knee.
Should have paid the man. Should have paid the man.
Should've.
Because now he gets to sit there and say, "Look what you are without me." And guess what? Franchise tag me. I'll ball out next year, and you don't get a shot at paying for me. I'll go wherever I just balled out, and they want me. So I see the Ravens getting just annihilated unless Lamar goes, all right, I'm going to play on game day. But I see the Ravens. I don't even see the Ravens busting 14 points, to be honest with you. I see the Bengals 35-14, 35-13.
Ooh, that's a good one, Mike, because the one team that's given the freaking Bengals and Joe Burrow the worst defense. So, I mean, he has trouble against it. So, I mean, I don't know. That seems like a high score, but they can ball out, like you said, maybe. Caleb, who do you got?
Yeah, I think it's Lamar's. I know he's doubtful to play, and their second string. I don't think he's playing either. It might be their third quarterback as well. So I will say his Joe Burrow had I believe 2 out of his worst 3 QBR matchups this year has been against the Ravens. So they do see him a lot. They know what to do with them. I think the one chance they have is their right side of the O-line for the Bengals is just trashed. I mean, their guard went down last week after their tackle was already out a couple weeks back. So that'd be the only chance. But Joe Burrow protects the ball when he moves probably as well as any quarterback in the league. And it seems like he gets that ball to Jamar Chase, and Jamar Chase will make a catch over anyone. So it'll be some weird things have to happen for it. But, yeah, I got Cincinnati winning that one by 2 touchdowns.
Nice. Man. All right, guys. And the final game that we've got, which is on Monday night, which should have been our spot, Cowboys and Bucks. Caleb, who are you taking on this one?
So let me ask you a question real quick. Is Dak Prescott just bad now?
He always was.
Well,
I think he is, man.
I know he was.
Always
he wasn't
was.
like the 3, but like
So
I feel like he just win out of this. I think it's 7 straight games with an interception. I don't know really what he's tempting every time to try to go for those long shots when they have more than capable running backs and star talent to just little dink and dunks and run the ball. But yeah, I definitely don't trust Dak. I don't know what's wrong with him. I know he hasn't been great, but he's just very bad now, it looks like. So I'm gonna go Bucks on this one.
Nice. Score prediction. What are you going with score prediction?
It's not gonna. I'm gonna say. I think it's gonna be 2017 Bucks.
Oh, close one then. Okay. Mike, what's your thoughts? You think it's going to be a blowout by the Bucks, or you think the Cowboys are just going to run all over them with Tony Pollard?
oh boy. Brock Purdy is what Dallas wishes Dak was. Dak tries to do too much. Dak tries to put the ball where it doesn't need to be going, and if his defense is playing, Dak's good. defense not playing, Dak tries to do too much. So I think Dak tries to do way too much in this game. I think Dak gets benched. I think Dak rides the pine at halftime. I'm gonna say Brady blows him out. I'm gonna say it's gonna be like 35-17.
There you go.
Oh, man. That's the thing. The Buccaneers are extremely healthy now. They've got all their pieces back. And, man,
Yep.
even against that defense with Trevon Diggs and that's going to be a good game. So that's the one that we got to really watch out. So, Bucks, the lineup this weekend. So,
Cowboys defense has been
you guys got
trending
any thoughts
downhill,
on,
man.
I know we're going to jump a little ahead. I know that yeah, they have. But Micah Parsons still.
You froze
Is
there.
there still a delay on me, you guys?
Yeah, you froze.
Oh, I froze.
Yeah, just a little.
Darn. Oh, okay. Well, you guys, I mean, we're already at the 46-minute mark. You guys have any final things you want to say on our first ever episode?
Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Hopefully you want us back. And hopefully the Niners get this job done and win the Super Bowl this year. Be interesting. I'm ready for the movie. There's going to be a movie.
I hope so. Caleb, you got any final thoughts, brother?
Yeah, before we get out of here, what are your guys' Super Bowl prediction?
Ooh. Mike, I'll let you go first. And then Caleb, you go, and then unless you want me to go first, I don't care.
You can go first.
Okay, well, I'm thinking it's going to be Buffalo and the Niners, to be honest with you. I have to Buffalo, I think they've got this whole thing. DeMar Hamlin, they're riding on, glad he's healthy and he's back, and the doctors were able to work miracles with him. But it's going to be that little love fighting for DeMar in the city of Buffalo. And they're finally going to get that one ring after 4 straight shots back in the early 90s and getting blown out in every single one of those. So I think this is their redemption year. So I hope it's not against the Bills, but that's my predictions. Bills and Niners.
Niners Chiefs, Brock Purdy MVP, 35-14. They give it to Mahomes this time.
There you go.
Wow.
Repeat,
huh?
Betting
Caleb, what's
betting purposes, if the Niners go over the Bills, that'd be nice, but it's I think it's going to be the Niners over Cincinnati this year. I got Niners over Cincinnati.
88 repeat, huh?
31-21 San Francisco.
I see it.
Nice. Those are all great predictions, man. I like how Bills and Bengals, and who knows, that AFC's stacked. So who knows who's going to come out of that. So, well, you guys, I appreciate you guys coming on to the first ever episode of the Faithful to the Bay podcast. And we'll definitely be doing another one next week. If you guys are more than welcome to come back. I'd like to say we're just recording. Eventually, we will go live and answer comments from the guests and from people that are viewing. So thanks for watching, everyone.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us.